going to have a short debate on what we're going to debate on the rest of this weekend. It's very possible, depending how intricate and detailed we get into the different topics, that we won't ever get to topic 2 or topic 3, depending what order you decide that you'd like to see the topics. It is possible that we also get to all 3 topics, it depends. But we will be looking carefully at all the different bills and making sure that they answer questions that a bill should answer, which are found at the very end of your debate.
If other acts not consent to either have I'm going to try to tackle in this way. I'm going to try to call in and try to regulate jobs that AI will take over the industry.
Are there any other points or motions on the floor? Senator Cruz's motion to set the agenda. Please raise your flashes now. Abstentions, corrections, passes.
We have to use legal intervention to protect the citizens of the United States from this fraud. Deepfakes could be highly harmful to everyone in the United States if they are used to tell untruths.
We believe that watermarking should be allowed for content that is political in nature and harmful or impersonates somebody. We also want to filter by age for accessing AI negatively.
I believe that disclaimers and watermarks underneath AI videos on social media platforms is necessary to inform viewers of when they are watching AI so they can make better informed decisions on their beliefs.
Human error has caused many problems in the development of technology and science, and AI can be a tool that can help us with that. However, deepfakes have also caused a dent in our community, as many people are getting scammed or have their beliefs changed just by a single prompt generated by someone else.
One way that we could solve deepfakes would be to use large language models, LLMs, to recognize whether a video/image is AI or real, and then put a disclaimer or a watermark so that the public knows that it's AI.
Some AIs might be able to remove the watermarks and fill in what would be there otherwise, which means that the watermarks might be rendered useless. That's one of the main issues, which if we could solve that, that would be really helpful. Another one of the solutions that I propose now is having reporting mechanisms on the platform. I mentioned already the deepfake video of me that went around last year. And I asked X to take it down and report it because it was AI, but X refused to. So I propose that reporting mechanisms to report AI deepfake videos that are harmful to the people that they depict inaccurately should be able to be reported.
So would it be for humans, would it be possible for them to be able to report, maybe falsely put watermarks in order to make sure that all things are accurate and allow humans and people who might know better or have seen falsely labeled videos to be able to report them and to maybe use them, such as the Take It Down Act, to be able to report them and to have their suggestions replied to or acted on.
So we came up with basically 3 to 4 pronged approach. The first step would be an alert. So if any of you guys have ever been on camera and you tried to type in something, Canva just said, no, I cannot do that. So that's going to be the first step. It's basically going to be an alert. It's going to say, no, I cannot create that sort of an image. No, I cannot create that sort of a video.
We're talking about AI, basically checking AI and making sure that there's a watermark there that shows that this is AI, so nobody is harmed by any of these videos that could be false or potentially cyberbullying or impersonation. And also there will be some human checkers. I'm not sure if we fully decide on this, but there might be human checkers who would also, basically what they would do is they would look at the video, and if they're not 100% sure it's AI, they would just put a stamp there saying not 100% sure if it's AI, but it might be AI.
Some ideas for this is by just watermarking what posts are AI versus what are humanized. without violating it.
Some apps, like for example, social media can have in-app controls, like so people can personalize what kind of content they're getting. If they don't want AI, they can block it. Like the watermarks can categorize each post into like either AI, family, and like half and half. And there can be settings that block or unblock those different types of videos in order to make sure people like are receiving the kind of content we want, and also this will be in addition to like government regulations.
Public education can help people detect deepfakes on their own without AI detecting it for them. For example, on social media, where AI can be posted, the social media can teach people how to spot AI before they sign in to get an account on the social media.
The current bill that we have does not hinder innovation. It just prevents people who want to do bad things with AI from getting access to it and using it not for productive purposes that will increase the efficiency of this country and will help us in staying in the race. No, it will not generate or flag out. That would be really useful. I don't know the time. That would be a really useful thing for.
So it's not restricted to free speech, but it's also making sure that people know that this content is AI generated.
Like humans should think about it. The thing about artificial
Like I'm gonna work together like people who are interested can make the companies and like unless they're programmed so that they can do that, they can't just be like, oh, this is AI too, like let's roll it together.
A federal trading.
Don't look at the camera.
I think you
not like
on
money
the AI
Address the First Amendment.
Our detection for AI is against the First Amendment right because it's just like asking an artist to paint something and the artist says no. It's not taking away your First Amendment right, it's just refusing to do something for you because what it's doing is detecting that that's hostile or like bad, and then it's just refusing to make the image or content that you're wishing.
When you generate an image of someone or a video of someone doing something that they have not done, you still need their consent in some way. And most people do not consent to this, which is why it's such a big issue and everyone is totally against this. Which is also why this is not like taking away the First Amendment right, because yes, you may still post AI generated content. We're just trying to make sure that it's clear that everyone knows that this is AI and it's not happening.
It is modifying the original content, and it may block out certain things on the content. However, I think that it may be better to place it underneath or next to the video to help not obscure the content and just prevent any violations of the First Amendment.
The election process for political content is meant to take time. It's meant to have voters and citizens really think about which side they want to vote for. And AI-generated content is preventing this from happening by rushing the process and making campaigns feel a lot more rushed and not as authentic and meaningful.
Political bias in AI is a very big problem that must be stopped. As Mark said before, it can be used to sway voters and it can rush the process of deciding who you want to vote for in the elections, as it's already happened before in the 2024 election when Donald Trump posted AI-generated photos about Kamala Harris that were
Misinformation like this can sway voters and also just make the large amounts of confusion that already surround political matters much worse. Even though there may be regulations in place to stop politicians from generating videos or photos of like other candidates or like, people they're opposing, that there also needs to be we also need to make sure that they can't generate misleading stuff
if you want to watch a video and it has some graphic image or people saying things that are sensitive, then it'll alert you and say watch anyways. And AI, it could have this where it could say like, this is an AI video before you even watch it, and then you could press like watch anyways, or it could just like go through the video and just before it would just have a little caption saying this is an AI video.
The resolution that we've been working to write is basically focused on a four-pronged approach. So as I've said before, it goes through a couple of, an AI created image or video goes through a couple of steps in order to determine if it is AI and if it should be watermarked. Human created images will not be watermarked, but any AI made image will be watermarked as partially created by AI.
Resolutions that will affect our country for decades to come, affect our people for decades to come, affect our country and our businesses for decades to come. And I think that what has been accomplished today in this committee has truly been remarkable, working with several senators and the other senators to speak. I think it is really important that this persists and that I'd like to close the debate off with a quote from Abraham Lincoln I think it was to Gettysburg Address, the government by the people, for the people, and with the people will not perish from this earth.
Please share it with all 3 of those. All of them are currently on the 3 R's bill, so just message any people with sharing access.
I think like once we hear more about your bill, we'd be totally willing to vote for your bill, and we hope that you guys will be willing
working
to work for
and to allow AI to arrange databases so it can figure out which caller IDs have different AI patterns to them to see.
I did.
Now it's your turn. Okay. It's now open to debate. Are there any questions or motions on the last time?
Motion for round robin.
Okay.
This bill is going to fund AI and help to progress the U.S. AI's industry and help to make sure that the AI is effectively being used to help the American people.
Yeah, this bill essentially provides funding for all AI companies to help boost development and just make AI better, safer, and just more useful.
And we will give grants to 7 different sectors to begin with. Yeah, to begin with, but it can be later decided.
The Department of Commerce is a government institution that is mostly centered around business, economy, things like that. Deepfakes are AI-generated videos or audios that are made to impersonate humans. They're usually used for malicious purposes, but can also be used for mindless entertainment.
So people are able to report if they see any content that they think is really AI, and they think it shouldn't be believed by people. They're allowed to report for the 48 hours after the image has been published. These reports will then go into a program, not an AI, that will then put these reports into a percentage, positive, negative, and then that can mark it so it originally starts off as partially marked as AI, but that can change it to fully made as AI.
At the federal level, what we're doing to help this is we're putting in funding to help fund AI research and researching how we can increase the accuracy of LLM in recognizing AI.
Basically taking protections, first of all, once it's generated, there's going to be watermark there. We're going to also add that in when it gets to social media platforms, where it can reach other people. We're going to add more watermarks. We can flag it. We can see how many people think it's AI. We're also going to say people can report it to the company.
Online platforms that are exceeding a designated user threshold will be, which is 100 million users, may be required to contribute to the upkeep and the maintenance of the LLM as they are sort of.
Not hear any safeguards that should be put into place as your taxes, but these companies are big, they have a lot of power, so if the federal government is taxing a little, I don't think that would matter much to what they're doing to actually turn what
factors like these are the key things that like, because if we're asking for grants, we're bringing in approval, but now who decides where that money goes is the most important factor.
The thing with the Recognize, Report, Rectify Act, or the RRR Act, is it will indefinitely work it will undoubtedly target deepfakes directly. And this makes it so that all our American citizens are directly protected. And this is so good because it'll stop the harm that deepfakes spread. The harm that deepfakes spread goes beyond just spreading false information.
I do believe that there are some flaws. For example, large language model stands for, LLM stands for large language models, which are made for language processing, not image processing. I believe that it would be better if we used an image model instead of a large language model to process images, because this would help better read images.
This bill, the Recognize, Report, and Rectify Act, completely is almost error-proof because it has a four-pronged approach. The double watermarking procedure makes it almost impossible to create an error.
Most people would rather want to watch human videos rather than AI videos. And with watermarking, that not only makes people not want to watch those videos, it also just prevents these videos from getting any traction.
So now that we're in voting procedure, the doors will be barred. So if I could have Jill and Zoe each take one end of the room, close the doors, you cannot leave until voting procedure has ended. All those in favor of the RRR Act, please raise your flag now. All those opposed? All those abstaining? This resolution passes.
We have lost $12.5 billion to it, and it is especially damaging to the non-tech savvy population. It is incredibly important that we protect our nation and our individuals, along with people's financial freedoms and stability.
AI fraud is a big issue in America's modern day, and it is targeting the elder population. It needs to be shut down and taken down. AI fraud is really bad.
AI-supported fraud has become a huge problem for our country, and I believe that using perhaps like LLMs, we can prevent AI fraud from becoming an even bigger problem.
We need to find a way to notify people, especially seniors who have a hard time detecting fraud, that they should not respond to or interact with scams or phishing emails that seem believable or real.
Everyone is saying that we should stop AI fraud, but deepfake fraud has by far increased the most in the past few years, increasing around 3,000%, and identity fraud has increased around 311%. So we should focus on stopping deepfake fraud and identity fraud first before we stop other AI frauds.
AI can be taking jobs away from people, but it is also used for innovation. So it is mandatory for us to find a solution to have AI continue to help us in our jobs, but also stop from job losses.
Job loss due to AI is a major issue. It is necessary for humans and AI to coexist in a work environment to maintain both AI innovation and human employment. In order for this to happen, public education on how to work with AI and job training will be.
Senator Sullivan, and a couple of other senators have been working on a proposal to use AI to eradicate scammers and let people on the receiving end of a scam, let them know that the scam is going on. As we have just talked about in our policy round, this is one of the biggest problems happening in America right now, scamming elderly citizens out of billions of dollars.
Currently, AI has tilted the balance to favor criminals by making deception faster, more convincing, and harder to detect. That is why I want to focus on the direct action, which is requiring disclosure when AI is used in robocalls, applying heavier fines and penalties for AI-driven fraud, and using LLMs to help people identify scams.
The problem is, these people won't even know they're being scammed until the money and data is out of their account. That's why me and a bunch of fellow senators have been working on a bill that we would like to propose for many solutions to this issue, and we would hope that you all can recognize what we're trying to do.
We should be tracking and stopping these companies from scamming citizens. We can track the emails who are scamming and destroying people's lives.
There are many different, or AI scams, are targeting specifically older generations and people who may not, and the text notifications that give you that say it's a potential scam are pretty small and are hard to notice. This is why, as a potential solution, we are planning to use voice audios before scam calls as like 3 seconds just to warn the user that this may be a potential scam.
Social security and financial. It's not. Oh yes. Well, yeah. For elderly people, but not everyone they call is elderly.
We believe this is a great bill that you can totally vouch for because it will protect a lot of people, especially the elderly population who has been like scammed by these people who have not been flagged, or they really need to have some kind of warning that this could be a scam call. And if they ignore our warnings, that this could result in them losing money, being deceived or tricked. So I believe this is a great bill that there's no fault to it.
This bill is highly beneficial to solving financial fraud because not only does it help regulate and look over different transactions by banks, but also brings awareness to people of all ages about what is happening and what they can do to notice different AI technologies.
As a Republican, I just want to say, guys, I want to say that this is a Republican. Your guys, like you yesterday said you're accepting defamation, harassing, and this is both of them. This is simply not true. Because we don't see anything needed to happen. Republican or Democrat? Republican. Honestly,
Fresh off the press, our chief and staff has posted another AI image.
Wait, is it?
This time it goes directly against party lines. What are we to do?
So delegates, to solve this crisis, you're going to have to write a directive. How we're going to do directives is, it is basically just going to be like the operative clauses of the resolution. Forget all of the fluff, but first maybe we'll have a few rounds of moderated debate. Any other points or motions on the floor at this time? Senator Cruz, what was your motion?
Motion for 345 on what people think is the solution to this.
This is consequential. This is against what we have just passed. We need to immediately put into action some rules to make sure that this does not happen again. And this is clearly a violation of something that we just passed in this committee today and yesterday.
I suggest a solution where we should write a directive that immediately watermarks this image, that shows the public that this is actually not true, and people actually know what to really believe.
I don't think it's really a deep fake by any means. There's a lot of details that are pretty inconsistent, and it overall doesn't have a very realistic look. So I don't think that this is that misleading or problematic.
Even if this is a legitimate photo, which I believe this is a deepfake, first of all, who is believing this? And second of all, like, we can prove that this is not true, so why don't we do that?
Efforts to regulate AI are just protecting political actors like Donald Trump from accountability, and creating this biased deepfake is completely useless.
That's not real. How would the DNC even get in there? Like, it's clearly fake. I don't know who's believing this, so I don't think we have to make this a bigger deal than it actually is.
This image is a horrible misinformation. While many other senators have said that nobody is going to believe this, I think it shows otherwise, that Trump has gotten a lot of votes.
So I believe that Donald Trump has a right to have his own opinion, and like other senators have said, this is kind of useless, so I don't see it as a pressing issue or a crisis because it's just an AI-generated photo of his beliefs.
People, when they see this, in their minds, they think, oh, you're right, Democrats are doing this. Democrats are this, even though it may look like it's AI, the meaning still stays behind in people's minds. This is why I believe that even though this image may not look like it will harm anything, that it is not necessarily a big deal, but an important matter that we should take into consideration. The election process is supposed to take time for people to see which side they want to vote for and who they want to vote for. And it's AI images like this that is preventing that from happening and rushing this process.
I go behind Marky saying that the meaning behind this statement is
this is not, people are not going to believe this is exactly what the DRC looks like, but there is meaning behind the statement. But I must issue that President Donald Trump was using his First Amendment right to speak about what he believes.
Even if nobody would believe this image, it still puts the thought in people's mind that the DNC headquarters is a bad place and makes people think that think of the DNC down, think of them in a lesser way, and it is a totally unnecessary use of AI and was not needed.
This image poses a serious accusation, and while it doesn't do too much by itself, like expressing that, it's just not right, and it's going to increase hostilities on both sides.
This directive clearly addresses the issue at hand. As multiple senators before me have said, this post that Trump has posted is not defaming any specific individual or minor. So what is the problem with him voicing his free speech? Are you telling me you're against our president stating his opinion and giving his own opinions to the public? If you think that people are going to take this serious, that's their problem. Our directive is clearly watermarking the image, telling the public that this was generated by AI, and then it's the public's decision now.
This bill that the Republicans are trying to pass, or this directive, is extremely outrageous. As Senator Duckworth just stated, defamation is definitely the case here, and it is happening against the Democrats. When Republicans decide to put an AI-generated image out there with the caption of Democrats being demonic or supporting Satan, that is completely false, and it can also offend other people who are part of the Democrat Party and don't believe in Satan.
This is clearly defamation. Thank you so much, Senator Duckworth, who showed us that President Trump's post is defamation according to the law. The law says that defamation is an exception for the First Amendment of free speech. Therefore, since this is defamation, he doesn't get free speech in this very specific scenario. We're not against free speech as a whole. We're against defamation. We're against him telling lies about the other party. This is truly possible to sway people's perspectives. You don't know how realistic people think this post is. A lot of people might actually believe it, even though we know that it's AI generated. Therefore, taking it down now is the best course of action.
This is our president being an exemplary and expressing his freedom of speech rights to show his citizens that they can do the same. Also, being offended is a part of freedom of speech. I could say something that really offends a lot of you, but I'm just exercising my freedom of speech right, and I'm expressing my opinions. This is not wrong. I don't believe that this is exactly very wrong in any way, as he's just exercising his First Amendment right, and we actually need to stop calling it defamation, because that is simply not what this case is.
This will be enacted by the Senate to help combat job loss due to mechanization and increase the skill sets of future workers to increase job opportunities.
So we're recognizing that artificial intelligence, it's becoming more and more prevalent in everyone's day-to-day life, and we're trying to encourage a future in which humans and AI can cooperate and coexist within the workplace.
So some of the key terms are artificial intelligence, which is computer-generated engines that can be grown to be able to find patterns in data and understand new information in almost a human-like way.
So we would receive our funding from the following organizations: the federal and funding grants, which supports education in STEM; state and local tax revenue, which can be directed to AI curriculums.
I want to let you know, whether you got an award or didn't get an award, you did amazing. This committee was one of the most productive I have ever seen. You hit all three agenda topics, even though we threw in a crisis to disturb you, and you put together strong resolutions that actually solved them. I hope you didn't feel like I was trying to railroad you too much. I tried, I was hoping that y'all would be just so spread out, y'all would make your own ideas. If you want to stay on one agenda, we could have done that. But this was an insanely productive committee.
It was genuinely very difficult to assign awards, as Logan said. We deliberated for quite a while. So many different bills were passed, directives. I'm so proud of all of you. We saw a lot of initiative being taken, and we're really pleased with each and every one of you and all the work that you put in.